Done? Okay.
Yes.
So Salesforce is working based on tenant-based architecture, right? Okay. This
Yes.
is the high-level architecture. But when we talk about the detailed architecture of Salesforce, Salesforce is made up of objects, records, and so on, right?
So,
So do you know what is an object in Salesforce? Now you can share your screen, okay?
mm-hmm. So generally in Salesforce we call it object as a um where it's a form of table content where we
Mhm.
store all our records in a table format.
Beautiful. Okay.
So we have a predefined objects for our different clouds like sales, service, and marketing. So for sales, we generally use lead, account, opportunity, and context. So reports and dashboards are general for all the clouds.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. Instead of calling it as predefined object,
Mm-hmm.
let's use the Salesforce specific terminology. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So until now, we were talking about generic CRM, but going forward, we'll only use Salesforce specific terminology so that on your when you're conversing with your clients or when you're taking some client interviews, it will be helpful. Clear?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we don't call it as predefined object, we call it as a standard object.
Yeah.
Clear?
Yes.
So in Salesforce, the architecture is comprised of objects and records. On top of it, we have apps, right?
Yeah.
Various apps. So
Yes.
these apps are nothing but sales service. If you click the app launcher, you will see all the apps, right? Okay.
Yes.
And primarily we have this objects and records. As you said, what is an object? An object is nothing but a container to contain data. So inside one object, you will only store one particular type of data. With an employee object, will you store information about your customers?
No.
So an object is nothing but a container to store only one type of data. If it is employee, only employee. If it is customer, only customer, right?
Yes.
And we normally compare the Salesforce object with a table in database. So don't memorize all these things. I'm a guy who teaches very, very practically. Okay. I don't
I'm not.
like memorizing. Yeah. So click on lead. Lead is an object. It's a standard object.
Yes.
Now click on all leads. Change it. It's in my, yeah. Okay. Change it to all leads. All open leads. Okay. Now, how is the screen looking like? Does it look like a table?
Yes.
So that's the reason they compare the Salesforce object to a table, right? Because it's going to store information about a particular type of data. Here it is lead. It will only have information about lead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Primarily the lead. There may be some information about related objects, but only relation will be kept here. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Done. Okay.
Yes.
Now, what is a record? So inside a database table, what will you see? Lot of rows, right?
Yes.
So now can you open a notepad, please? Now type Salesforce SF object, Salesforce object equal to tables in database. SF objects equal to tables in DB. In DB. Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now come to a new line. SF records S capital, F capital, Salesforce. Okay. SF record equals to columns columns of a table in DB. Columns of a table in DB, in database language. Okay.
Yeah.
Columns of a table in DB, in database. Okay.
Tables in. Okay.
Okay. Done.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Beautiful. Now this is done, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
sorry. SF record is equal to rows of a table in DB.
Rows.
I'll explain how. Don't memorize it. Okay.
Yeah.
So every table has got different rows, right? Now
Yes.
look at this Salesforce screen, lead screen.
Mm-hmm.
Now, does it look like a table? Yes.
Yes.
Now, how many rows has this table got?
Rows. Maybe when I see it as from 1 to 10.
1 to 10, right? 10
Yeah.
rows are there. So, in Salesforce language, we don't call it as rows. We call it as Salesforce records. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So, it is called as Salesforce records. So, we are equating the Salesforce records with rows in a table. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
Now, go back to your notepad. Type SF fields.
Your voice is too far, Ashwin.
Okay, it should be better now.
Yeah.
SF fields FIELDS is equal to columns of a table in. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, can you explain how this is done? How is this possible?
Yeah. We generally this one like name, company. This one
Mm-hmm.
we call it as fields where we create. These are the standard fields.
Mm-hmm.
So under the fields, it shows the record. So like the table formats, it's a column of a
Mm-hmm.
fields are a column of a table.
Beautiful. Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, if you go to a table, right, every table will have a column. What will be there? There'll be a column ID, right? For
Yeah.
example, if the employee table, it will have employee ID, employee name, mobile number, address, and all these things. But if you
Yes.
open an employee object in Salesforce, right? If you open an employee record,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you see as a columns in a table will be those fields in this record. For example, if this is the lead table, if you are opening one row, open the first row. This is the record, right? When I
Yeah.
open the record, whatever was appearing like a columns of a table is now looking like a fields in my Salesforce. That's all, as simple as that. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you have cleared a certification question. Okay, this is a common certification question.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it is all in a different way. Yeah. Okay. Now, so we touched upon the architecture of our Salesforce, where it comprises of objects, records, and fields, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, let's talk about the various Salesforce editions. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What did you know? What is meant by Salesforce editions? What are the various Salesforce editions that you know?
Developer,
Okay.
enterprise,
Okay.
unlimited.
Okay.
Mm,
And there are two new editions. Do you know that?
one is like starter, if I'm not wrong.
Okay. Okay. Good job. Good job. So,
Only
in
one.
order to know more about these editions, right, open a new tab. Simply type Salesforce editions. Okay. Come down. Scroll down slowly. Okay. Click on Salesforce editions. Okay. Scroll down. Okay. See here. Essential.
Yeah.
Starter. Pros 2, Professional, Unlimited, Enterprise. Right?
Yeah.
These are all the commercial editions. Come down. Developer is a non-commercial edition. Right?
Okay.
So you should not use developer edition of Salesforce on a for a company. You can use it only for development purpose. Okay.
Okay.
Is it clear? But if you are running a business, if your users, business users need to use, they cannot use developer edition. That's only you can still use it. Your company can still use it, but you can use it only for development.
Okay.
Right? Now, so I think there are 5 editions, right? Essential, Startup, ProSuite, Professional, and Enterprise. And
Enterprise.
so 6 editions. Clear? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how will you know what is the difference between this and that? Come down, come down. Okay. Click on compare it. Go up. Okay. So click on Salesforce Pricing and Editions. So here, for example, if you are going to buy Sales Cloud, you
Mm-hmm.
can compare all the editions and the various features which will be available. Scroll down. See, Enterprise, Limited, Instant, all these various versions are here, editions are here, and
Mm-hmm.
compare it. So come scroll down further down. Scroll. See here. Come down. No, no, don't do fast scrolling. So you can see at the top, you can see Starter Pro and Enterprise and Unlimited, right? So in
This one, right?
Starter, you don't have the advanced forecast pipeline management is not there. Whereas if you go to Enterprise and Unlimited, it is there. If you scroll down, this Agent Force is nothing but part of the CTI related stuff, right? Not
Mm-hmm.
only CTI, but you can manage the agents' productivity and all these things in a very efficient manner. So that is Agent Force, okay? Their appraisals, their commissions, so that will come under Agent Force. Even the sales territory management, all of them, it will be available only in your unlimited and enterprise, right? So like this, you can compare the various features. Clear?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, I'm good for this one.
Yeah. This is for sales edition. But if you
Editions.
want to see it for service, you can just simply switch it. Go up. Okay. So in the drop down, right, do you see sales product? Click on that. If you want to see the same thing for service, simply change it to this is only showing sales, right? That the
Mm-hmm.
URL you can simply click on instead of sales, you can change it to service, okay? Or you can simply Google and change it to service, okay?
Okay.
Not services, service, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like this, you can compare. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. Now, so we covered editions and their pricing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So every edition is going to be priced per user per month, right? If I have 10 employees and if I want unlimited, 330 per month per user, right?
Mm-hmm.
Clear? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's talk about the various environments in Salesforce. In any project, right? Any project, any kind of project, all projects will have multiple environments. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have our organization itself will have separate dev environment. It will be sometimes provided by our organization, dev and sandbox. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the client will provide production. But before we get into that details and all, let's talk about what is dev environment, what is test environment, what is sandbox environment, what is production environment. Okay,
Okay.
so can you explain what are these environments? Do you know what are they?
Yeah. Dev, partially copy, full copy. This one, right? You're asking?
No, no. What is a dev environment? Why do we use it?
We generally use it for development,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and then from dev to we push it to full copy,
Mm-hmm.
where we do one kind of UAT testing. There, like we do this one, like we follow this pattern in our company. We do development and dev, and then
Mm-hmm.
we push it to the full copy. So there, we provide one kind of, like we do as a QA, we do test there and end-to-end testing, regression testing, and everything. And then in full copy, client will do like one round of UAT, and then we push it to the production.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So this is how we follows.
No, no, that is more in the Salesforce specific one. Forget about that. But
Mm-hmm.
in general, can you tell me what is dev, QA, sandbox, and production? What is the difference between them, and how do we use it? Talk about in general.
Dev, we call it as a development, where a developer will build the scope. So in QA, we test the scope is in a right format as working as expected or not. And sandbox is where the developer will be using. So production is a live work where clients and customers will use lively. So
Okay.
sandbox is a place where we do test and we develop uh, from the like company side. That's won't be available for customers. So we do all our building and testings in the sandbox.
Mhm. Okay. What is critical about sandbox? How is a sandbox environment prepared? Do you know how a sandbox environment is created?
Of like from the copy of production.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. That's very important. And why do we do so? Why should we create a copy of production?
Like then only we get all the license and the editions. Like from production only we used to get license, right? The edition license.
No, no,
And
no. No, no. Why should we create a copy of the production inside your sandbox? What is the purpose, the business purpose of it?
like
License is okay, but I'm asking the functional part of it.
because when we work in a production, the live environment that disturbs the business. So
Sorry?
we have it when we work in the production, like when we work in the production environment, that disturbs the business. So just
Okay.
not to disturb the business, we
Mm-hmm.
have a sandbox, and there will be some inbuilt functionality like packaging and everything. So that can be copied to the sandbox. Whatever
Mm-hmm.
we built already in the production, so that gives in the sandbox when
Beautiful.
we spin
Okay.
a sandbox on
Just
production.
to add few more points to it, in
Mhm.
order, when you say in order not to disturb the production users, we use sandbox. But what are you going to do which will disturb the production users? Are you going to do some magic? No, right? Are
No,
you going to kill the server? No.
no.
But what are you going to do in the production server which you think will disturb the production users?
Sorry, come
That's the
again.
main purpose of sandbox. See, we are creating a sandbox
Mm-hmm.
because we do not want to create any negative impact inside our production environment. See, we are developing some change, right? We are doing some feature development. That feature development, we want to test it thoroughly. We have tested
Yes.
it in our dev environment, it is working fine, right? But we should
Mm-hmm.
also test it in a production like environment to see if it is impacting something or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, for that, if you do your testing in a production like environment, if you
Mm-hmm.
apply the change, what will
Ashwin.
are a scientist, okay?
Yeah,
Can you hear
Ashwin,
me?
your voice. Yeah, I can hear you now, but your voice is
Okay,
broken at the mid.
no problem. Okay. So I was just mentioning, when if you're developing some features, right, you need to
Mhm.
test it out in a production-like environment. That is the purpose we are using Sandbox, where we copy the data, we copy the code from production environment, and we apply that inside our Sandbox environment. And what is the purpose? We are going to apply our changes to the Sandbox environment, which is like a production-like one. So if there are any bugs, right, it
Mhm.
will not any it will not create any impact to the production users. Clear?
Okay. Yeah.
For example, if you are developing some medicine, first what will you do? Will you directly apply it in the uh, um, humans?
No, no.
What will you do? You will first apply it on a rat. If rat
Yes.
gets succeeded, you will apply it on another animal. If that gets succeeded, then you will apply it to human. And directly you will not apply to human also. In humans also, first they will apply it in different humans first. Then only it will come to our commercial usage. Is it clear?
Yes.
Done. So
Yeah.
like that only, why are we doing? We want to check the impact. Because if I directly apply on a human, it will affect him, right? So
Mhm.
like that only in Sandbox, we are creating a production mirror and we are seeing if our medicine or if our new feature development or if our new issue fix is creating some problems with the existing environment or not. If we do it in the production, the business will get affected. The system will get downtime. There will be some bugs, and it will affect the business operations. But if we do in Sandbox, nothing will happen, right? It's
Yeah.
just us. Okay. Now, I think you already gave me an answer about the various type of sandboxes. You were talking about full copy, partial copy, and all these things, right? So there
Mhm.
is a developer sandbox, there is a developer pro sandbox, partial copy sandbox, full sandbox, right? So developer sandbox means you only have limited storage. Developer Pro Sandbox, I think it is up to 1 GB of thing. Partial copy sandbox is nothing but where you have a partial data from your production refreshed into your sandbox. Full sandbox means it's a mirror of your production. It includes both data, everything from the production, including even the attachments, the objects, records, everything is copied into your full sandbox. Clear?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, let's talk about we covered what is the various editions. We covered what are the various what is a sandbox, what is the difference between sandbox and production, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. We also covered what is the environment. So QA environment, we use it for testing, right?
Yeah.
So as you correctly mentioned, there will be some build preparation teams where they will take a build. If the development is completed, they will create a build. They'll deploy into QA environment. If QA is happy, we'll take a build and we'll deploy it into the UAT environment. UAT environment, sandbox environment are all the same words. But in Salesforce terminology, we also have developer sandbox. So we differentiate the sandbox between here it is differentiated. But in general terminology, when some clients refer to a sandbox, right, they
Mhm.
refer it to as the UAT environment, or you can simply call it as UAT sandbox. Okay. So
Mm.
what do you mean by UAT sandbox? It is nothing but your staging server. Okay.
Yeah.
Staging server, UAT sandbox, these are all same terminology. Okay. Don't get confused. Staging server is nothing but a copy of your production environment.
Production.
Clear?
Yeah.
Or we call it as UAT sandbox.
Great.
Done. Okay.
Sure.
Now, once UAT is finalized, we deploy it into the production, right?
Mhm.
Now, what is this app exchange? Have you ever heard about app exchange, Trailhead? Trailhead, I know you would have definitely heard about it, but what is app exchange? Do you know what is Android, Google Play Store,
Yeah.
Apple
Yes.
iTunes Play Store? Similarly, we have an app exchange where other third-party vendors and people they kind of contribute and to the ecosystem and they create apps. Some are free, some are commercially oriented. So we might have to purchase it and use it. So they extend the Salesforce platform and they offer some custom built solutions. We can either purchase, we can go to those exchange and we can purchase it. How will you go to the exchange? Do you know how to go to exchange? Go
Yeah.
back to your Salesforce instance, open the exchange. Trailhead, I know you have definitely used it. Have you used it?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Okay. See, that's all. Visit App Exchange. Clear?
Yeah.
So this will take you to the exchange where you will find all other third-party
Third party.
solutions, which you can sometimes use in your project if the client agrees. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't ever use any third-party solutions without the permission of your customer. Is
Understood.
it clear? Yeah.
Yeah.
And don't say that my trainer only told we can use some third-party solutions. Okay. No. Only when you have, even if it is free, you have to take permission, because in certain projects they might be worried about the data. So they might not want their data to be shared with some third party. So
Okay.
even though it is free vinyl, they will not use it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Done. Clear? Okay.
Yeah.
So now we are moving, we have completed the module 1 and 2. Okay. So let's move on to the module 3. Okay.
Loading.
Now, we already covered what is Salesforce objects and records, right? Okay.
Mm.
Now, let's get into some more deeper Salesforce terminologies. Now, let's cover the basics first.
Mm-hmm.
So, we saw the life cycle of a customer. So, a customer lands as a lead, then he becomes an opportunity, then he becomes a customer. But assume that you have purchased, your business has purchased this Salesforce software. How will you store your customers? So there are two types, right? Accounts and contacts, right? So what do you
Yeah.
mean by account? What is a contact? Can you explain?
Yeah. An account is like when we say it as where the companies comes like, so that's call it as account. The person from the company we call it as contact.
Okay, beautiful. Good answer. Okay, quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Can I store my customer as a
Mm-hmm.
contact?
Mm, contact directly, right? Yes, of course.
Good.
Uh,
Can I store my vendor details inside account?
Vendor is a part-time bias, right?
Sorry?
You call it as vendor like the part-time bias, not the full-time buyer.
No, no, not part-time buyer and full-time buyer. Vendor is some maybe like a supplier. Okay, let's say
Supplier.
I'm manufacturing something, or let's
Mm-hmm.
take your company.
Mm-hmm.
It's a maybe let's say your organization is a Salesforce certified maybe a gold partner. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
Salesforce is a partner to you, right? There
Yeah.
might in every business there will be a partner, there will be a vendor, there will be a kind of lot of stakeholders, right? Like that,
Mm-hmm.
vendor or supplier is one stakeholder. Can I store that information in Salesforce inside my accounts, or should I only save customers?
I think only store customer for like the vendors we can use some other app
Mm-hmm.
modules.
So,
I think if I'm not wrong, that's a partner community.
mhm. Okay. Okay. To understand this better, I'll ask one more question.
Okay.
Assume you are doing some product. Okay, you are manufacturing some product for which you are advertising it in NDTV. Okay. Now,
Mm-hmm.
NDTV is your media partner or advertising partner, right? Or
Okay.
channel partner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, how will you save this related information inside Salesforce? How will you save it? Will you save it as account or contact, or should it be in a different object? Should it be a custom object, or how will you do it?
I think I can store it in account. Maybe
Why?
with a, because they are my vendors. Like, but I can store it in a
Hmm.
different type of data. For example, using a record types.
Hmm.
If I'm not wrong.
Let me give you a basic understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Account and contact doesn't necessarily mean that you have to only store your customer information. So in Salesforce,
Mm-hmm.
let me prove that to you. Open some account record. Any account record? Open any record. Go to details, account type. Look for type TYPE. Click on this. Drop down. Click on the pictures. Yeah. So what do you see here? See, installation partner, channel partner, technology partner, right?
Yeah.
So why are they having partner related information here? If you should only save a customer, you should only have customer, right?
Yeah.
Should only say customer direct or customer channel. But
Mm-hmm.
it says prospect, it says installation partner, it says technology partner, channel partner, right?
Yeah.
So this clearly indicates that account and contact doesn't necessarily mean that you should only save customers in it. Okay. But what you said initially is right. Okay. So what is account? Account is nothing but any legal entity
Mm-hmm.
with whom you are doing some business transaction. Can be any kind of transaction, right?
Okay.
Any legal business entity,
Mm-hmm.
if you're dealing, if you're having some business terms with them, or if you're doing some business transactions with them, you should store them in your Salesforce CRM as accounts, right?
Yeah.
Whereas contact refers to a individual persons with
Mm-hmm.
whom you have some business transactions.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are dealing with an individual person, let's say I'm a dealer of a AC, okay,
Mm-hmm.
of a AC manufacturing company. I have my dealer shop. Now you are my customer. You are an individual person. Your name is Pooja, right? So Pooja is coming to my shop and she is buying one AC. How will I save this details in Salesforce? Will I save it as accounts or contacts?
Contacts.
Contact. Why? Because you are an individual person. But
Yeah.
Pooja is maybe she is she is from the purchase department of this N2D solutions from your company.
Mm-hmm.
You represent your company and you are purchasing for the company N2D. In this case, how will I save your information inside my CRM? Will I save it as contact or account? I'm just storing information about Pooja, but she
Okay.
represents N2D,
So
and
like,
N2D is going to purchase it, not Pooja.
yeah, so under an account, so you
Mhm.
just check the N28 record, and then
Okay,
under an account in a relationship, you will add me as in a contact.
contact. Beautiful. That's all. Right. So
Mm-hmm.
first you will create an account called as N2D. Then you will have contact because N2D building is not going to come and talk to me. Some human being from N2D is going to contact. Who's that human being? It's nothing but an individual person. But they represent the company. So you can create a contact inside Salesforce either by linking it to an account or you can leave it empty. Go to contact, create a new contact. New. Yeah. See, when creating a contact, it's asking you for the account name. But is that mandatory? No, right? I can
No,
even create a contact without having my account.
account.
For example, I have a vendor. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When someone buys an air conditioner, I have a person called as Ashwin who is basically a separate vendor. If I call Ashwin and say, hey, there is a new customer, you go and install it in Velachery. What will he do? He'll go to Velachery, that place, and he will install. So how will I save his information? I'll say last name, first name, Ashwin, last name, AC installation person. Then I'll save it in CR. Correct? Because he's
Yes.
an individual person. But I am also having some companies which do the AC installation for me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it is called as A to Z installation services. Then I'll say first name A to Z installation services, and I'll create an account. Right?
Yes.
Clear?
Yeah.
So in this case, he's a vendor. Sorry, he's a kind of um, he's my installation team. He's my vendor for installing this AC, right? So I'm storing his information also in accounts and contacts. Clear?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't ever say that only customer should be saved in accounts and contacts. No. Clear?
Yes.
Okay. So when you open an account record, right, you will realize it is representing a legal entity. How? If you go there, you will have a field called as annual revenue, number of employees, which is all indicating that it refers to a legal entity, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But when you come to a contact, right, you will have fields like birthday. So you can even happily give your birth date inside your contact information. But don't think that Salesforce is going to send some cake or gifts. Okay.
Yeah.
That is not possible. See, you will even find birth date field. The reason I mentioned birth date is because we're going to have a lot of use cases related to that in our upcoming classes.
Okay.
If you want to find a field quickly, right? Control
Mhm.
F, hit Control F, type the name of the field. Okay,
Mhm.
done. Okay.
Yeah.
Use Control F whenever you need to search something. Whenever I ask you to search something. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Done. Any questions?
Yeah. So far, I'm good.
Okay. Now, can you quickly? I think we are on the mark. Can you quickly create an account and contact for me and quickly show it to me, please?
Account and contact, right?
Yes. Just give the mandatory information alone. Okay.
Okay.
Come down. Account name is the only mandatory field. Okay. Uh,
So in a
now
two-way, we
go to
can
details.
create.
Now go to details. See, when you are doing some CRM training, right,
Mm-hmm.
you need to understand the holistic view of when you're learning something. It's always you have to understand it from a business perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at account, right, see, you see some fields like come down. So since you are learning CRM related ones, you need to understand how cunning business in the world are. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
See, come down. Look at the SLA. What is SLA here? Any idea?
No.
Huh?
No.
In general, do you have SLAs while you are working in your project?
You mean the field you're saying, right?
Sorry?
I'm not getting your point. You mean, what is SLA like?
Okay. Let me tell you. Now, you have used over these days, right? You would have raised some complaints with call center, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you will get an email saying that we'll resolve it in 3 business days or whatever may be that.
Yeah.
That is the SLA. Any complaint that you raise or any request that you raise with some business, they will provide you a SLA. So what does SLA stand for? Service level agreement.
Okay.
So I can simply cover this account and contact and I can move on. But I don't want to do that. The goal is to give you some actual business knowledge so that you can use it in your projects, right? So in
Yeah.
your project, if you work on some projects, right, you will
Mm-hmm.
see this SLA, right?
Okay.
So you might be asked to write some test cases around SLA, correct?
Yeah. You mean the
So
deadline, right?
deadline, correct. Not only deadline, SLA is a very, very vast concept. Deadline is just one part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
SLA is service level agreement. What level of service your organization is bound to give it to its customers is
Okay.
governed by SLA. Okay.
Understood.
It's more like a contract. In
Mm-hmm.
some certain things, right? Maybe if you have got some Netflix or for some, if you take gold and platinum, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gold, platinum packages in certain businesses, right? If you take bronze or silver, if you call them through phone, right? They will say, "Hey, I see your package is bronze and silver. So can you reach out to us in the email channel?" The agent will tell you, and he'll hang up the phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Only for maybe some gold, platinum customers, they will provide phone channel support.
Okay.
So why are we saving this information inside the account? Because I am using Salesforce. I am an organization. I am entering information about my customer here in the SLA.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Yeah.
So inside this SLA, I'm storing, I'm telling my employees, hey, what priority you should give to this customer, right?
Mm-hmm.
If the SLA, click on the SLA, it will be a pick list. See, gold to silver, platinum. If I'm a bronze customer, if you spend 1 hour with me, my management will be shouting at me. Why are you spending 1 hour with a bronze customer? Don't you have any sense? Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like that, I should prioritize my work. So, it's an indication to my employees that don't spend much time with bronze and silver guys. Spend more time with gold and platinum. Right? We are categorizing, we are prioritizing work using this SLAs. Right?
Okay.
Done?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, finish this. Create an account, please. Click on save. Save, save. Oh, you
Save.
already created. Okay. Now, how will you create a contact under this account?
So there is a two-way where I can directly
Mhm.
create from related list, or
Beautiful.
for this
Yeah.
particular account I can create in a related list.
Okay. Beautiful. Okay. Okay. Good. Yeah. Contact is related. Created, right? Okay. Done. This will stop here. Any questions?
No, so far I'm good.
Okay. Good. Thank you. Let's
Yeah.
meet tomorrow.